What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very, very welcome along to Monday night's late night agenda. As always, I hope life is treating you well. I hope that you're all in good form. And thank you for joining me to spend a little bit of your Monday evening. Let's talk about the owners tonight. Let's talk about Ibrahima Konate and him saying that, yes, he has received a contract offer, but wouldn't be drawn on whether he was going to accept that contract offer or not. That and lots more to come over the course of the next few hours. We're going to be discussing Liverpool's interest in Brian Mbeumo and asking how serious that is. And we're going to be asking, has Curtis Jones lost his damn mind? I believe he has. That and lots more, ladies and gents. So, one thing I'm going to say, I'm going to be unapologetically me moving forward, you know. I spend a lot of time reflecting over the past few days, and I've just come to the conclusion that I'm going to be me and say what I say, and if people like it, great. If they don't care. It is what it is. I'm not going to ham it up. I'm not going to dress myself down. I'm going to be honestly me, and I'm fuming with the owners of this football club. I'm fuming that my fellow Liverpool fans are looking around going, why do we not feel happy? Because we should be, right? You know, logically, looking at this from the outside, you're going to go top of the league, top of the Champions League, in the semi-final of the League Cup, and everything's looking all right. But that's not how it feels on the inside, is it? That's not how it feels supporting the club. It feels like everything is built on a house of cards that could come tumbling down very quickly if John W. Henry, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards and the rest of them don't get their finger out and get stuff dealt with. So that's where we're going to go tonight. We're going to ask what on earth is going on behind the scenes, because it's unacceptable that we now have a fourth player to add into this contract list of somebody who's been given an offer. The offer remains on the table, but as it sits now, they've no intention of signing that offer because it must be another lowball. And that's what's annoying me. You know, every which way we look as Liverpool fans, the cheapness comes shining through. Whether it's not giving players money they think is enough to commit their futures to the club, whether it's wanting to bring in talent but not wanting to pay for that talent adequately, it just all points to one thing: cheapness. And we deserve better. And I'm not going to be ashamed to say that anymore. I'm fed up of being undermined about it. We deserve better than these owners. You deserve better than these owners. And don't let any of these idiots who try to belittle you by saying this, that and the other think that they're right. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. Deep down, they know these owners are cheap. And it's going to be a thing that destabilises the club. So let's keep calling it out. Stick two fingers up to the rest of them, because they don't give a damn about us in their positions of comfort and acceptance of these owners. They don't care. So why should we? And that's the attitude I'm going with from now on in. If you agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, then stay in your own lane and stay the fuck out of my way, and we'll all be fine. So let's talk Ibrahima Konate. Actually, there was one comment that came in that I've got to bring up from Don, who's a member. Good evening, Craig. Yes, be you. And let's just remind ourselves of that Darwin masterclass. Yeah, it's been lovely seeing the vibes around Darwin over the last few days. Him talking about not giving up and he's going to keep going forward and carrying on. Yeah, it's been lovely. But why aren't we feeling happy, you know, as fans? And it isn't just me that feels this way. I'm sure if I ask the chat, a lot of you guys and girls are going to be fairly fed up of the whole situation with No Money FC. So let's talk Ibrahima Konate, who has been speaking a little bit. He said he has confirmed, according to James Pearce of The Athletic and Fabrizio Romano and look, everywhere else, Konate confirms that he has been offered a new deal by Liverpool Football Club. So Romano was right about that one. But what he also said, when asked if he's close to signing that deal, he said, that's another conversation. Now, of course, we don't know the ins and outs of that, but you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that he's no intention of signing that deal as it currently sits there, because he obviously doesn't think it's a deal that's reflective of where he is and his value to the team. And without us knowing those numbers, of course, we have no way to really answer that. But it's yet another player who has an offer on the table from the club, but not an offer that they're going to want to sign for the club. So why is that? And the answer is because John's cheap, because FSG are cheap, and because they tried to do everything on the cheap. They want to spend small money, but they want to have big results. And of course, that's their imperative as owners. That's their right to do. It's also my right to sit here and call that out, as it is yours. The club is spending a large amount of money and fans need to be happy with what is spent. Just bringing things back to a sustainable level, is that the story we get? We just get told, mate, that everything's expensive. The running costs of the club are expensive. The wage bill's expensive. Players are expensive. Agents' fees are expensive. Everything's expensive. Until it comes time to the valuation of the club, which is going up and up and up and up. And that's all he cares about. Tanya said, the contracts aren't signed by the end of the window. I would say they're going. Can only agree with you. Where's the money? FSG. You have to look at it like that at this point, Tanya, because if the offers are on the table and they're not being signed, well, it's not on the players then to come forward with another offer, is it? They can't make the club put forward another offer. So what of this nonsense that's been put out there to say that, Mohamed Salah's contract offer is still on the table? Right, he's obviously no intention of taking that offer. So how are we supposed to feel settled when we see Al Hilal sniffing around after Mo? I'm going to read you through some transcripts today that talk about Paris Saint-Germain and their desire to sign Mohamed Salah. And you're going to ask, how does this benefit us? How does this benefit the stability of the club moving forward? It doesn't. It's just cheapness and it's embarrassing. I love this gaslighting by FSG, so keep fighting the narrative, Craig. Thank you, Kyle. Look, mate, I don't take any pleasure from this. I want to be having a fun night with you guys and having a laugh, but I can't. Because we all know we're like a couple of departures away from this ship coming crashing down. And I was listening to Alan Smith, former Arsenal player and Sky Sports pundit earlier on. And the tone at which he spoke about Arsenal kicking themselves in the foot because they're not going to win the Premier League this year and that Liverpool will probably win it. And he said it was supposed to be Arsenal. Arsenal were on Man City's shoulders for the last couple of years. And it was almost like he was speaking from a sense of entitlement that Arsenal should have been the ones to zip in this year and win that title if City fell away. But they haven't. And we have. And that, again, to me, whilst it's brilliant and we hope we see it through, and of course we want Arnott and the boys to win the league, we know that it's also then going to be another tool for us to not spend or for us to be told there's no need to spend. And that's just a bullshit narrative that I'm going to keep pushing back on. Jordan House, he said, they're willing to spend $6 billion for the Boston Celtics but not invest in the team they have. So on the Boston Celtics, right, I don't think they're going to buy the Celtics, and nor the people I've spoken to from the other side of the Atlantic, because the valuation doesn't leave much room for more profitability there for me. So look at when they bought Liverpool. I'm not going to say we were a distressed asset, but we were certainly an undervalued asset that they got for 300 million, and you only seen their valuation skyrocket in the years after that up to whatever it is now, £5 billion. If you're going in and buying the Celtics at $6 billion, I don't know enough about American sport. I don't know enough about basketball. But I don't know how they're going to add valuation on top of that. How they're going to add more market value and increase the revenues there. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it seemed like the best play for them was to go with that Las Vegas franchise with LeBron James that they were speaking about doing down the line. And again, I'm not an expert on American sports, but I hope that, genuinely I'd love them to buy the Celtics and just sell us. Honestly, because I'm fucking sick of them at Liverpool now. And I wish they would sell us and buy the Celtics and then we could just leave them in Boston and we wouldn't have to worry about John W. Henry and his cheapness. Because right now, I feel like we're the child that is overperforming but not getting praised much by daddy, if you get me. It's not good enough. Mark has said, I'm uncertain over the future and that scares me. Exactly. Like, we should be right now flexing our financial ability to go out there and get deals done. Others have FFP problems and PSR problems, and we don't. And rather than leaning on these clubs who have these headaches and going out and getting deals done while everybody else can't free up the money, we're cheaping out again. And others are trying to strengthen, and we're being told as always that sure, everything's great, everyone's amazing, we can't improve on anything. And it's sad. It's sad. What is Richard Hughes doing day to day? What the hell is Michael Edwards doing? Because between them, they can't get a contract negotiated. Between them, they don't seem to be able to discover or bring in players to the club. And we're all getting fed up of it because it's so unnecessary. So why not do what any other sensible owner would do, which is go out there and try to make sure that you build on your legacy and have 3, 4, 5 years of Liverpool winning things. And again, I don't want to hear this all in the summer, Craig. They'll do it in the summer. Because let's be honest, you don't believe that. I don't believe that. We've heard that before. It's all bullshit. Summer will come. We'll get one player and then there'll be an excuse. And then we'll sell another player and that'll nearly balance things out. And then we'll be called children, spoiled children, ungrateful, unrealistic, the FIFA generation and all the other lazy tropes that we get aimed at us all the time by people who love to have a hard-on for accountancy. Stevie Boy said Konate's waiting to see what happens with the contracts, what happens to Maka, Dom, Grafenberg when it's time for renewal. Exactly. I said this before, Stevie Boy, and I think you've made a good point. How does this put calmness throughout the squad? If you're looking at the lads who've gotten to the very top of the tree, your Virgil van Dijks, your Mohamed Salahs, your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, if you're looking at these gents who've brought us to where we are, along with Kloppo and their other teammates, and they're getting lowballed after putting us in this position. They're getting lowballed, and the next contract up, Ibrahima Konate, who's young, is getting lowballed. Do we not see a common denominator here? And I don't want to hear people go, but it's their job to try and save as much money. It's their job to keep the club ticking along and to keep everybody happy and to keep our success sustainable. And you do that by tying down the people who are here and doing successful stuff for you. And they're not even doing that. So we don't get the players coming in. It's not like we're being ruthless here like Chelsea, who just move on anybody that they don't think is immediately going to be the best they can be. Even if they're only at the club 6, 12 months, they'll move them on. We don't even have that ruthless streak. Where it's like, ooh, there's a better left back, let's go get that left back. No, we get given the wage bill's high, can't carry 3 left backs in the squad. We'll wait till the summer. Why? Do it now. Be ruthless. If you don't think Costas is good enough, sell him. If you don't think that we have enough centre-backs, buy one. Or, if you don't want to give Virgil and Mo a new contract and really don't want to, then come out and say that. This constant battle for the narrative is embarrassing. We know you've lowballed them. We know you're cheap. If they weren't lowballed, they'd have signed the fucking contracts. So stop taking everybody for assholes and do your jobs. All of them, like. Not one of them seems to be doing anything behind the scenes at the club. Patrick Dorgu. Remember that left back? Now this might be good news. So bear with me where I'm going with this one. So David Ornstein said that Manchester United are in talks with Lecce over a potential deal for left back Patrick Dorgu. A name that we spoke about last week on the channel. 40 million euro is the valuation. And I know I'm saying United are in for him, but hear me out. The reason I think that this is good news is because it's clearly an indication that Kirkes ain't going there. If they're looking to bring in Dorgu as a left back, I'm getting the vibe from that he's coming to us. And Kirkes also posted as well to say he does his talking on the pitch, yada yada. But my indication there is, yeah, United know they're not getting Kirkes, so they're going for another left back. And this is the guy they're looking at because they know Kirkes is coming to Liverpool. That's how I interpret this news anyway. But again, let me know what you think. Armin said, Craig, I feel like they came to Liverpool to destroy the club. So, Armin, they came to Liverpool to make money. And they've made a load of it. An absolute boatload of it. I would argue probably more than any other investment they've made. When you've spent 500-600 million, including the redevelopment, and you've sold off 11% of it, and probably gotten most of that money back, you're now in a situation where you've probably been paid your initial investment, you're playing with house money, the club's valued at about 5 billion quid more than when you bought it, and they're not doing nothing. Sitting there, doing nothing. Not going out and strengthening, finding every excuse under the sun, manipulating every fan around the world with their bullshit PR stunts, having the journalists without a backbone on side with them. And I sat there and I spoke with my psychologist today and I said, imagine a world where journalists don't have free reign to say what they want. And we talked about that for a few minutes. And then I said, well, that's football. Because that's where we're at now. Nobody has the backbone to stand up to these owners. Nobody. And I'm not saying I'm the man to do it. I can only say what I can say and give you my opinion. But the whole machine around the club is one of sycophants where you have to agree or you don't get a seat at the table. That's not healthy. I've been saying it for years. So to all those people that look down their noses at us, they're cowards. They're no better than us. They're yes men. Backbones. Gone. Spineless. And I'm going to stand over that because they know I'm right. You know I'm right. And eventually, when all is said and done, everybody will look back at this time and think, yeah, they were cheap owners. And they are. So to the clowns that defend them relentlessly, who are you doing it for? Because you're not representing the fan base. And I get it. Those of you with your feet under the table want to keep the cushy jobs going and the money coming in. I get it. But you look like idiots. You really, really do. And you don't get to think you're better than the rest of us. Because we see through the bullshit. And we don't think we're any better than anybody else either. But we at least have a backbone. Our owners don't know how lucky they are because we're a very loyal fan base and they don't deserve the loyalty, said David. So I spoke with a couple of Americans during the week just to kind of gauge what it's like in American sport and the media over there. And they were saying very clearly that they demand owners to be answerable. They demand they sit there and answer questions. You know, you don't do your jobs as owners, it gets called out. I think we're too soft over this side of the pond because we're letting them away with doing whatever they want and nobody's calling them out. I will, not because I want to, because genuinely I feel like it needs to be done. Oh, Johnny boy, the Celts are calling. Do us a favour and F off. How's it going, Craig? It's good. I feel more settled again. I feel like I'm more balanced after spending time with my psychologist today and working through the last couple of weeks. It's enough is enough of it now. Enough is enough. It needs to be called out relentlessly because it's just going to be negative. And you can say I'm being negative and there's a point to that. I can't argue against that. But it's tangible. You can feel it in the fan base at the minute. Everybody's tetchy. Everybody's on edge. And you're top of the league. That's a weird feeling. Harry Williams said, Craig, what baffles me is usually there's got to be some diehard Reds inside FSG, like in every business, that are everywhere. So where are they and where are their voices against John? I don't know, mate. Like, let's look at the journalist side of it for a second, right? So I'm not talking about your Ornsteins here, by the way, or I'm just talking about the ones that cover Liverpool, exclusively cover Liverpool. When I talk about journalists, I'm not talking about David Ornstein or Miguel Delaney or anybody like that. They've nothing to do with Liverpool. They're just football journalists that cover football in a more well-rounded manner, and you know, I've great respect for them. They've done some great work. But the ones that cover Liverpool, I don't know where their backbone is, and I don't know how they do it, because they know they're being spoofed half the time, and I know this from speaking to them. They get told stuff and they're questioning it internally, going, do I run with this? Is this right? Like, how many times has James Pearce lately looked like a clown by coming out and saying something and then the very opposite happens quite soon after? That must hurt. So when they're feeding you the bullshit, I'm talking about the club to these journalists, they don't care that their reputations are being tarnished when they put this out, as long as they're doing the club's bidding. So it's a very weird relationship that I don't understand. Because what's the benefit? The only benefit is the access. Because financially the benefits aren't there. Because the written landscape, the written media, it's falling apart. It's very difficult to make a proper living unless you're attached to a big publication. So what are they doing it for? Because they're not representing the readers. They're not representing the fan base. They're not calling it as it is. They're just sycophants. They're just yes men. That's it. You know, all of these people. And the same with the Liverpool-based podcasts and YouTube channels that get the access. All of you. Absolute cowards. Every single fucking one of you. Red men, Anfield Rap, cowards. All of them. And I don't give a damn anymore. Come at me, hate on me, slag me off, do what you want. Pussies, each and every one of you. Sitting there knowing what you're seeing is wrong. Knowing that you should be calling it out, but you don't. You don't because you like a pound note. Be honest. The days of you being fans are done. You're now just media companies and fucking yes men. That is it. End of. So you do you. You keep being arrogant. You keep being entitled. You keep being clowns. And I'll keep being me. And I'll keep calling it out. Because somebody needs to. Because heaven forbid you've got yourselves into these influential positions and you do absolutely nothing with it other than bend over for John and get the Vaseline out. So you can talk about not having the right vibes. But everybody's fed up of the likes of the Anfield rap and red men kowtowing to the owners. Everybody sees through it. The only people they have left are people that don't really understand the fan base or the FSG apologists. That's it. And I'm going to take your audience, every fucking one of them, one after another. I'm taking them, all of them, because we have truth on our side, honesty on our side. And I'll do what you won't. So enjoy it, because now you're sitting here watching the most watched Liverpool fan on the planet, who doesn't do it for the money, who doesn't give a fuck about the access or the influence, who does it because he loves the club and genuinely wants the best for it and its fans. Not for himself, for it and his fans. So you do you, you arrogant clowns. Look down your nose, talk about not being the right vibe, while also behind the scenes reaching out and asking for help to sell shit. Gloves are off now. You do fucking you. But I'm coming for number one. And I'm taking it. And I'm going to take people along on this journey with me. Because somebody needs to have a pair. Somebody needs to grow a pair of balls and call out these owners before it's too late. Honestly, I'm done. Psychologist said to me, go be unapologetically you. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah, can. Craig, you're poison. FSG have made us a powerhouse again. Let me ask you then, why are you here? Because you don't think that of me. You're here because I'm relevant. You're here because you know I'm going to say what needs to be said. So if you don't like me, dickhead, why are you here? Why are you subjecting yourself to something you don't like? Because it's bullshit. You're full of it. And you're not getting in my head anymore. So off you pop. Back to your little incest or fucking incel improv comedy hour or whatever it is you're trying to do. Off you pop. Because I'm not apologising for being me anymore. Fuck you. Everybody else that hates me. Everybody else that thinks they're better than us. Each and every one of you can kiss my ass. Quite simply. Kiss my ass. I don't care what you think of me anymore. Because you're not going to be there for me when I'm on the sofa in tears. You're not going to be there for me when I'm struggling with my mental health. You're not going to be there for me when things are going bad. You're there to stick the boot in. So I'm sticking it right back. Only for when I fucking swing, I don't miss. So anybody that wants to have a pop, bring it on. You're going to lose. I'm here. I'm telling you. I'm going nowhere. And I'm going to have an impact. And we, together, as a community, are going to drag people into the 21st century and wake up to what these clowns are at. Enough's enough. Sonny, let me get your comment up, bro. Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards won't give the players they feel don't need contracts like Verge, who he'll want to replace with Kwanzaa. How do you not give Konate a contract that he'll sign? Genuinely, like. Age profile, spot on. Proven himself to be one of the best defenders in the world. And he has a contract offer on the table that he won't sign. Now, this is the same man who said he'll die for the club and loves the team, which I believe 100%. Ibu wants to be here. I've no doubt about that. But why isn't he signing his contract? Because it's low ball. That's why. Stevie Boy said, in 15 years, Liverpool have won one league title and Champions League. For me, that's not good enough for a club like Liverpool. Especially, mate, when we've got ourselves into the position where we could have won a lot more. And these little fucking plebs that sit there and go, but they brought us back. They've done nothing. They got lucky with Klopp. They've got some transfers that have worked well. They've rinsed them players, ran them into the ground, and now they won't extend them. And they're trying to do a cheap rebuild. So, what have we not won because of FSG should be the question more than, well, Craig, how can you be unhappy we've won something? Not enough of it. Not for a club like Liverpool. Not when you get to the top of the mountain. Don't want to get there, look at the view and fall straight back down. Want to stand there, balls out and build a big pissing veranda where I piss all over all the competition. That's what we should be doing. Liverpool should be on the top of the mountain with a big pissing veranda there to just drown everybody else below us. But no, not happening because these owners don't have the bottle for it, the stomach for it, or the wallets for it. But either way, enough's enough. This is why I love you, man. Always chat the truth. Look, Luke, I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to say can I be honest because that's horseshit. I'm going to be honest. I tried to play the game. I tried to extend a hand out. When I worked with David Lynch, and this isn't a rant and tirade against David Lynch, but I tried. You've seen it. I tried to reach out. I tried to show that we can have these conversations, be polite and respectful, which I only ever was, and I get thrown under the bus for it. Because Paul Gorst got a bee in his bonnet going in on accounts on social media and we called him out on it. And that was enough to have me thrown under the bus by Lynch and say, I don't know if I feel comfortable working with you anymore. Fine. You do you. Crack on. But I'm going to keep being me. So again, gloves are off now. I'm calling it like it is. You do what you need to do and I'll do what I need to do. But I'm looking out for my community. That's it. Don't care. Don't like me, fuck off and watch something else. No one's making you watch. So anybody in my comments that wants to try to be a smart arse, it's not going to impact us. Stop wasting your time. Go have a wank. Do something that makes you happy. But don't come in here and you think you get to look down your nose at us. Ain't happening. Not on my watch. And thank you, by the way, Luke. Appreciate that. You're not going to the game, Craig? Nope. I'm never setting foot inside Anfield again. Well, FSG on the club. Connor's going over to the game tomorrow. He's bringing a friend of his with him. But I'm never set foot in that stadium again until the club's in a better place. And I mean, a real better place. And yeah, people are going to be going, oh, I don't care, you're not welcome there. Don't give a fuck. Not going. Not giving them any more money. Not doing anything in any way. Because I feel disconnected from the club. I don't feel like I should do as a fan. I feel belittled, vilified, looked down upon for wanting the best for the club from the people that are in influential positions. So as I said, I'm looking out for people who look out for me and people who have my back. And that ain't the club, and that ain't the journalists, and it isn't David Lynch, and it isn't anybody else that wants to come in, say thank you for all the extra views they get, thank you for all the extra money they get, thank you for the access to your community, and also stick two fingers up at us when you get a little bit of grief from some arsehole echo journalist. So again, let's get real. Connor, mate, I'm really sorry to hear this. I hope you feel better. I mean, you're in hospital, so it's obviously seriously, Connor. Yeah, man, I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, much love, my friend. And thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for being with us and thank you for your kind words. I'm sure all the community echo my sentiment of saying, mate, get well soon. Whatever it is, man, there's some tough doses going around this winter. But yeah, look, I hope you feel better soon, Connor, and thank you. I'm wondering how the meet-up attempt with Bradley went. It went exactly how you think it went. We didn't get an email back. Exactly how it always goes when we're involved. Frank Burke said, yes, Craig, you're on the right path. Don't give those tramps any more money. I can't do it, mate, with a clean conscience. I can't. You know, and this is nothing to do with the players and the manager. I absolutely idolise those players and our manager. And all of my fellow fans, Even the ones that disagree with me. Nothing but love. Because I can understand sincere differences of opinion. I can understand that everyone doesn't see football the same way. No problem with that. The only issue I've ever had is when people think that they're better than us. Not that they disagree with us. You know, there will be people who look at these owners and think, yeah, they're steady. They're good owners. And I understand that. And I respect their view. As long as they don't think they're better than the rest of us. And that they think they can belittle us. Or throw out lazy tropes against us. That's not washing anymore. Can I explain my beef with FSG? Yeah, they're cheap. End of beef. It's really straightforward. FSG came in and bought the club. Done some good stuff initially. Made some mistakes like any new owners would. No problem with any of that. Then we wake up to the Super League fiasco. Which was them saying clearly to you, the fan, we don't care how you are used to consuming football. We don't care about the history and traditions of the European Cups that we sell all around the world as part of the Liverpool brand. We don't give a shit about Crazy Horse lifting European Cups, Phil Thompson lifting them, Steven Gerrard lifting them. We don't care because it's better for us financially to go off and join this Super League that's a closed shop, which means we get guaranteed revenue every year. So fuck you, fans. That's what you get. You get to be told, well, we're just taking all your history and tradition and running over here. Until they found out quickly that that wasn't going to wash. And it didn't. And football fans came together. One of the most beautiful times I have ever had as a fan. Where football stood up and went, not happening. You own the clubs. We own the sport. So that didn't happen. And then we got the bullshit apology. And all that apology was sorry I got caught. Sorry I couldn't get away with it. Because I would have done it again tomorrow. It was bullshit. And on top of that, all we've ever gotten is cheapness. And under promise and over deliver. Their words. When have they once done that? Just once. Where's the players that they were talking about that Liverpool will be able to compete with top clubs for? Where's the generational talents that we're waiting for? Never arrive. But excuses, they come like clockwork. Always. So that's my beef with FSG. They are awful, cheap owners who do stuff when it benefits the value of their asset only and don't do it for the sporting merit of what's happening or for success. Look at what they're doing with the Red Sox. Look at what the Red Sox fans are writing about. The fact that FSG are happy to not have them relevant and not have them competitive until the Dodgers dynasty fades away and their building project that they have going on to develop Fenway and around there, when they need to sell apartments and they need to fill venues, then they'll make Red Sox competitive again. And this isn't coming from me, that's coming from Red Sox Nation. So if they're doing that in their hometown where they live, work, shop, what hope have we got over the other side of the Atlantic when they don't give a shit and they've already made an absolute fortune? That's my beef with FSG. I hope it's clear. I hope you understand my perspective. I'm always open for feedback, but that is my beef in a nutshell. And they've thrown Klopp under the bus, and they've done Arne Slot dirty already. They failed in getting him in the midfielder he wanted. So that's my beef with them. Not good enough. FSG want a wage reset, can see all 3 contracts ended. I hope that's not the case, but I fear you might be right. As soon as Edwards came back into the club, I feared for Mohamed Salah's contract. Because we know what way Edwards sees the football world. But it's the lack of honesty that gets me. It's because you know and I know that these contracts that are on the table now aren't getting signed. But the club will leave them there so they get to say we tried. It's a battle for hearts and minds now. And it's us, the fans, being pitched against the players. That's the way I see it. The players aren't getting paid and we're getting excuses. And the players are trying to be professional about it, but they're not able to. It is in their heads, despite what everybody tries to tell you that it isn't. It is. They've said it themselves. And we're seeing this negatively impact the club. On the pitch, in the squad, Mohamed Salah looks forlorn at the minute. And it's all so unnecessary. It's all so unnecessary. They haven't got the balls to actually come out and say they don't want to sign these lads back up. Or that they don't mind if Trent leaves. If they really wanted these to happen, they'd be sorted by now. And I'm not even up for debating that. 100%. They'd be sorted by now. Every other club can get it done. Paul Wells, again, don't care, fuck you, off you pop. I'm not listening to it, Paul. Don't agree with me, want to be little me, fine, nobody brought you in here, mate. And I have to make assumptions, Paul, because nobody tells us anything. So you just keep with your nose rammed up John W. Henry's arse, and I'll carry on minding my business. But again, you're in my chat, I didn't come and drag you here, you clicked on the video and came in. So, cheers for the money, now off you pop. Not putting up with the likes of you anymore, Paul. You don't come in with good intent. You don't come in to be part of our community. You don't come in to interact. You don't come in to add to it. You come in to shit on people. Fuck you. Craig. Sorry, let me get this back. You've turned into a prime Jimmy Corker there, kicking off. But love how you're saying it how it is. FSG getting yes men to make some money. Not to spend. No wonder Klopp left tired of crap. Just too many people selling their souls for my liking. Just too many people who start out on a journey to discuss the club they love, then realise very quickly that they have to taper that journey because they can't be in any way critical as they'd want to be behind closed doors, because that means no more access, no more interviews, no more cushy little nixers. None of that. All dries up unless they grow a pair. And they're not going to. So I'm going to keep calling them out. And the likes of Paul, who thinks he can come in and belittle me. Paul can do one, Paul. You can just fuck off. I don't care. I don't know who you are. I've never met you before. You know diddly squat about me, but think you get to judge me. Fuck you. I really appreciate your honesty in this non-transparent industry, Craig. All the community are behind you. One day the club will be in the right hands. And that is one thing that I've taken incredible support with, mate, is knowing, Mahmood, that people actually do care about me. And people are going to stand up for me. And people do have my back. Because I need that. I can't do this on my own. I could have taken the easy route, but I chose not to. Because I want to be honest. And you're right, this industry is a very untransparent industry. And I found that out the hard way. I found that out the hard way over the years. Darkness said, assumptions have to be made as the club are not transparent. The previous track record is not good. I've yet to forgive them for not properly replacing Genie, even when on top don't spend enough. And to go back to Paul's comment, I absolutely understand that I make some assumptions. Absolutely. I never say anything I say is gospel. Everything I say, I speak about as my opinion. I don't try to paint things as facts. I don't try to say this is happening, that's happening. I give an opinion. I give an opinion from a place of wanting the club to be successful, from a place of wanting Arne Slot to be successful. And if you don't dig it, no problem. But you don't get to belittle me. Those days are gone. Marissa, how are you, Marissa? Said, we should be celebrating our position in the Premier League, but we know deep down our tight owners are going to ruin it all for us. So, my view of FSG is that if we win the league this year, it'll be great for everyone, including them, but they will use it as a way to minimise what they need to do in the summer. And sitting here now, do you know, it boils down to this, really, for me, with these owners at the moment. It boils down to one thing. We are now in a time where three of the most important players at our football club, three incredible servants who have been there, done it and lifted silverware, can talk to anybody they want outside of the Premier League and sign a contract between now and the end of June that will see them depart out the door for free. And we're supposed to think that that's acceptable. We're supposed to think that that is not risky and that that isn't belittling of the stature of these players. Bullshit. It's cheapness. Nothing else. Because if you didn't want them, you'd be honest about it. And you wouldn't be lowballing them with cheap deals, trying to get them painted into a corner so that the players then get vilified. That's what this is about. For me, anyway. Pixelbeard said, never second guess yourself. You have an army behind you. Thank you. Thank you, my man. Is it only outside the Prem? Yes, for now, Daniel. I don't even think it's the Prem. I think it might be the country. Now, I'm open to being corrected on that one. I'm not sure if it's just the league they play in or if it's England or the UK. But let's say they can talk to anybody in Germany, Spain, Italy, Fluminense if they wanted in Brazil, Al Hilal over in Saudi Arabia. They can sign a pre-contract offer now with any of these clubs and Liverpool can't do a damn thing about it. And here's the kicker. They don't even have to tell the club if they don't want to. They could just wait it out and go, oh yeah, by the way, I signed that contract. I'm leaving at the end of the season. That's where we're at. And they've let it get here. And what's the benefit of letting it get here? Anybody who wants to defend the position, I'm not going to go in on you for answering this, but please do post it in. What's the upside of doing what they're doing now with Virgil, with Mohamed and Trent? Please do tell me what the upside of this is. Other than perhaps saving a few quid by hoping they cave in and their loyalty and love of the club, the fans and the league is going to get them to stay. Or a lack of options. That's it. That isn't the respect that we often hear about. That the club showed Trent. He could have done a dirty one on him and got him to sign a new deal before Jurgen announced his departure, but didn't out of respect. And Trent then uses that, plays one off against the other, comes around giving it this, like we're supposed to know what that means, and doesn't come out and say what he wants to do. And it doesn't take 6, 7 and 8 months to figure out whether you want to stay at your club or go and play in Spain. So if anybody thinks that he hasn't made that decision, I've got a bridge I want to sell you. Because all he's doing is leveraging his own situation and wanting the best of both worlds. Doesn't want to speak out publicly because he doesn't want to be criticised. Staying quiet means he gets to play the respectful card. Sorry, bullshit. But you won't see that written in the media because, again, they have to tickle the nuts a little bit. Trent's looking after Trent, and that's fine. But you don't get to preach to the rest of us about respect when it's not out of respect. It's out of self-interest and self-preservation. This is the last dance. We won't compete next season, said Liam. I'm unsure. How do I say this? I don't know what they expected this season of Arne Slot. Because I've always been honest and said I didn't expect a title charge this year. I did not one bit. I thought third most likely. And I thought in Arne's first year, third place, a good run in the European Cup, and we'll see where we are. But then you get into this position where you've got a buffer at the top. You've got a market now where clubs are struggling for money and you can go and flex your financial muscle. But you can't do any of it. Can't go out there and bring in players to strengthen the squad. Can't convince the ones that are here to stay. What are you doing? Genuinely, what are they doing? It's not good enough. And it wouldn't be accepted at any other club. So why are we accepting it? And we were just about to hear about record revenues once again. Wage bill we know has been trimmed massively. And they haven't given any of the boys new deals. So they've saved 6 months worth of extra wages from if they did it in the summer. And still nothing. Because they're cheap. So again, that's my take on the owners. You tell me why I'm wrong. Eddie said, you speak for those of us that haven't got a voice. And this one tickles me as well. Because a lot of these people that look down their noses at me think I fucking woke up one day and had 295,000 subscribers. Like I didn't graft for 4.5, 5 years before anything came my way. Like I wasn't on here night after night building a relationship and a sense of trust with my audience. This is what they don't get. They don't understand us. And I get that. That's fine. I wouldn't understand this industry if I wasn't in it. but I wouldn't look down on others for it. And I'm just fed up of it. So if I speak for a group of people, I'm proud to do that. But I don't do it for effect or impact. I honestly say what I feel. Connor said, thank you for all the kind messages. Overwhelming and emotional. Go community. We'll get through this. I'm a fighter. Love my club. And we'll be here for you when you do get through it, Connor. And you're right, mate. They are a go community. I am incredibly lucky to have these people in my life, Connor. Day after day. Night after night. Message after message. Email after email. Only looking out for me. Only looking out for my good interests. And I don't know what I've done to deserve them. But that's why I fight so hard and speak up. It's because I know I'm not on my own. I've been to my live shows, met these people in person, shook their hand, looked them in the eye, and they told me what they think of these owners. They're fed up of it. Scousers, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age. People from all different parts of the world. There's way more people that feel like we do, but they aren't being given a chance to say it. Because we aren't what's highlighted. We aren't what's propped up. We aren't what's pushed into the mainstream. Like everybody else, we're belittled. We're laughed at. We're silenced. And I'm lucky that you stuck with me through this. So I'm always going to do what I think's best for you guys. I'm always going to stand up and speak for you. And I hope you stick with us. So, shall we get back to football for a few minutes? And by the way, thank you for all the messages. My son turned 13 today. And if I can, just for a second, I want to just say for me, like, watching him become a teenager has been the most rewarding experience. My little dude, like me, is on the autism spectrum. And every day I get to learn from him. I get to smile because he makes me laugh. And I get to understand the world a little bit better. And when he tells me he's proud of me, that means more to me than anything. And he did. And that's why I speak up. And that's why I need to be honest. And that's why I need to look myself in the mirror and know that I'm saying how I feel. Because it's him that's coming through into the world next. It's your kids that are coming into the world next. And I know what world I want to live in. And it's not one full of sycophants and yes men that don't have the courage of their convictions. It's one where our parents taught us right and wrong, taught us to speak up, taught us to speak out, even if it is to power or people who can squash you like a bug. It doesn't matter to me. The gloves are off. I've already lived 2 lives. I've already gotten through a time I didn't think I'd be here. It's on me now to give back, and it's on me to speak up.
Did you tell him about his cheekiness today? He's getting the secretary to come.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
You're gonna put that one in.
Adam said, feck the haters, feck FSG, Craig for Australian Prime Minister. Love waking up the lives ever since COVID. Thanks for always being there, mate. Do you know what made me laugh today? See McGregor at the inauguration and thinking, convicted of lots of civil things, no problem, welcome to America. Craig ticks wrong box on a form. No America for you, Craig. Off you go to the embassy for an interview. That made me chuckle today. Lucky to have you, mate. Thank you. You're not, mate. I'm lucky to have you guys. Hope you're doing well, brother. I'm much better today, thank you, Nimnoy. It's been a tough week, as I've explained the other night. Found out another couple of things. I found out that there's a Discord group that's made up solely of people that's been booted out. And the entire purpose of this Discord group is to belittle me, my family, our moderators, everybody in our community, because they were booted out for being toxic little shits. And they think they're clever, but they're not, because they always leave a trail. And the reason we have the email addresses we do, and I explained this last night, is because it all goes back to a website and a domain that we own, so that everybody that sends an email to me, I can trace back to their IP if I need to. So thank you to all these people who've been sending emails, belittling me, threatening me, telling me to kill myself. I'm putting together a dossier at the minute, and keep an eye on your letterboxes. Jonathan, evening Craig, is Lucas a Liverpool fan? No, he's not into football. My son's a massive gamer. And I'm no doubt he'll have a job as a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer or something in the future, because he's got the patter, he's got the banter, but no, he's not really a sports person. He's big into his cars and he's big into computer games, like most teenagers, I think. Dream signing for this transfer market. It's probably still the midfielder for me in this window. You know, whether that is a Zubamendi type player or somebody else, one of those two. The left back. Do you know? I'm gonna ask you a question because I want to see if you're feeling the same way as me. So I haven't done a poll yet tonight, so bear with me. So I want to know: do you think we get Kirkes? Because I'm starting to think we do in the summer because of United going for Dorgu. If that's true and United do go in for Dorgu, it must be, in my eyes, because they feel like they don't think they're going to get him. And there's been a few things that have said Liverpool are front runners for his signature. And look, truth is, I don't know. But seeing United move for others, it makes me feel that yeah, there might be something there. So it is, Mark did check it up, it is the whole country that you can't sign the contract in. So the pre-contract thing we spoke about has to be outside of the United Kingdom, or at least outside of England. Thank you, Mark, on that one. Thank you for your membership, mate. Thank you for being with us. You said, evening, Craig, do you think we'll go for Andre again? No. Sure, he's at, where is he at now? Wolves, isn't it? Is it Wolves Andre trended at? I can't even remember. I think was it Wolves or Fulham? I know we went to one of them. A name that's come up in the last few days is Joe Gomez. So keep an eye on that one, although I don't know how serious that would be. And I don't even know if Joe Gomez is good enough, to be honest, because I haven't watched much of him. And Eddie said, where's your little man? Wish him a happy birthday for me. I will indeed. He's upstairs. We brought him out for a while today, get a few bits and bobs, and he's upstairs now playing computer before bed. My dream signing of the contracts, because I know they won't bring anybody in. So how are we feeling on the contracts then? Do you think, what are we thinking on them now? Because there's been conflicting reports around Virgil. Vicajes, for what that's worth, said they believe he's already signed a 2-year extension. Then you've got others saying that his agent was speaking in London with representatives from Al Hilal. And I truly just don't know which side. I think he's the most likely to stay of the three. Because I think even somebody looking at him with critical eyes for his age will see he doesn't rely on pace, reads the game well, is in a position where you can go a bit later. So I think Virgil will stay. At least I hope he does, but I still don't know why this hasn't been done by now. I just don't. Vinu, how are you, my man? Said, what's up with Douglas Luiz? There was a very quick piece that came out to say that he was considering a move back to the Premier League and leaving Juventus. Now, obviously, he only went there from Aston Villa. But it's gone really quiet from me anyway that I've seen Vinu on anything else since that. So I don't know if things have changed. I don't keep much of an eye on Italian football or the news over there, mate. So haven't really followed it too much. But yeah, I still don't believe Villa moved him on, by the way. I thought that was nuts. Roger, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. Thank you. Appreciate you being in. I believe you're Norwegian by the looks of the flag. So don't blame Virg for exploring his options. Virgil and Mo signed, I believe, said Tony Hoare. Fowler said VVD and Salah had signed, but not inside info, just gut feeling. I mean, if they have, I don't understand why it wouldn't have been announced. I don't understand what the delay would be, other than us giving the benefit of the doubt and saying they want them all done at once. But Craig, don't you think Gravenberch has cemented his position as a DM? Yeah, so if I ever come across, and I come across like when I'm talking about a midfielder, I never mean it to be in place of Ryan Gravenberch, because he's the guy. He is that guy. But you can't play 75 games in a year or 70 games in a season and internationals, and so we have to have another option. And Arna today was speaking about, you know, the two deeper lying options that he has being McAllister and Gravenberch, and again, two very good options. But we still did want that other player, and for me, having another option in midfield, because if you look at it, for me, you've got Jones, Szoboszlai, Elliott, McAllister, who are more 10s or 8.5s in my eyes. 8.5 to 10, sorry. So you've only got one in Gravenberch. You've got Endo, who I don't think the manager realistically trusts in that position. So for me, we still do need that player that we needed in the summer. But I never mean it to be as a replacement for Gravenberch, right? And I just mean it as another option or a rotation. Or to play both on occasion. Dean Jordan said, Virg will stay. Fingers crossed Salah does. I think Trent's gone, in all honesty. I don't trust the way he's kept quiet about it. I don't see the upside of Trent not speaking up about it at this point. I think it's dragged on a bit too long now. The staying quiet and being professional about it, that only lasts a certain amount of time before rightly people get jittery. Whether you get jittery because you're seeing stuff coming out from Madrid press, whether you're getting jittery because there's no breakthrough in negotiations, or he's doing this when he scores. We don't know what this is, Trent. We don't know what this is, mate. We know it's you want somebody to stop talking, but is that media, fans, Spanish media? Who is it? What is it? We don't know. And that is a problem, because you're supposed to be a player who loves the club, came through the ranks, wants to captain it, talked about it meaning more winning stuff here, and now no commitment. Why? Because I feel if Trent came out and said, I want to stay at the club, but the offers that I've received, I don't feel reflect my status or what I've given to the club or where I'm at. And if he did that, what do you think would happen? Every single Liverpool fan would be calling out the owners, going, pay him. Give that man his money. Stop giving him derisory offers. You let this contract situation get to this point. Now it's on you to make it better. That's what I think would happen. Or, if he doesn't want to be here and he does decide he wants to try something new, come out and say that. But dragging this out, and the longer it goes on, it's eroding away some of the trust some people have, or some of the belief or goodwill some people have. And we all want Trent to stay. I want Trent to stay. But I don't get that vibe that he wants it. I just don't at the minute. Yassine said, ignore the FSG cooks. Imagine supporting venture capitalists. I know. That makes me laugh a lot. Like, imagine supporting people who've made 5 billion off your back, haven't invested in the squad, have tried to sell you out and join the Super League, tried to furlough staff, put up ticket prices when there was a cost of living crisis. Imagine supporting that and telling the rest of us we don't understand Liverpool Football Club. The socialist roots that founded the football club. The people of Liverpool who are good people looking out for each other, trying to get by, same as everybody else. And we don't understand. We're wrong. We're the ones that are lunatics. The whole thing to me stinks. And you're right. I don't support the venture capitalists who are out for themselves. I support the player, the managers, and my fellow fans who want the best for the club, who will be here long after John W. Henry and FSG have sailed off into the sunset on their mega yacht. Exactly. They won't give a damn about you or me or anybody else, but we'll have to live with the effects of what they haven't done with the football club. Colzer said VVD would be slaughtered by the Dutch media if he went to Saudi. If he doesn't sign contract, then he'll go to another team, another European team. I don't think he would be. I know what you're talking about. I believe you're speaking about other players who've gone over there, but I think Koeman made a point of saying, and again, I might be wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry, Colzer, but saying that it was the stage of their career that they were at. So they were going to Saudi in their early 20s or mid 20s, and that I think is what Koeman was speaking about in the whole Saudi thing. But if you're at the age Virgil's at, and it's an end of career move, and I don't think he wants to go to Saudi either, by the way. I agree with you. I think, I've seen Borussia Dortmund's name mentioned with him in the past, and I could see him going and playing in front of the yellow wall and that appealing to him. But again, we all say the same. We want Virgil to stay. Don't want him to have to go to another European club. I want him to stay, and I'd love to know how they're feeling right now, because he's our captain. Mohamed Salah is a record breaker, one of the greatest goal scorers for the club's ever seen, and they're being nickel and dime by the owners. They can't feel the love right now. They're out there trying to win a league title, answering question after question after question about contracts, about renewals, trying to be professional, and Virgil has been incredible, very statesmanlike, dealing with it all. I tip my hat to him. I think he's been brilliant. Said he wants to stay. It's it's not great. When do you think FSG will finally sell? When they don't think that there's any growth left, or that there's no untapped potential. So the general consensus from the last time that I read up anything on the business side of football is that it's believed there'll be at least a 6.5% growth over the next 12 months. And that's without potential other TV revenues opening up, or other market interests, or virtual season tickets, or augmented reality, and all the other stuff that, technology will bring along. They want to make sure that they've rinsed every pound note out of the club, its fan base, and every tiny little bit of profitability out of it. Not enough now to get to 5 billion profit and sail off into the sunset. No. So I've always said I don't care how much money they make when they sell. That's fine. That's on them. But while they're here, and while they own the club, they have a duty to make sure that things are done right, and the right way, and the manager's backed, and the players are paid accordingly. And I think they're undermining their own playing staff now. IFI Must said, Craig, I just don't see Virgil or Mo moving, wanting Saudi football. They're still too good and competitive at the highest level. Did you see the Robbie Fowler clip where he said about thinking 2 of the 3 have signed but can't announce it as it'll put pressure on the third? And what's the problem with that exactly? Let's play devil's advocate here. He's talking about Trent. Let's be honest. He's saying Virgil and Mo are done, and he thinks it'll put pressure on Trent. And I don't see the downside of that. If Trent can't agree his deal with the club, okay, that's up to him. But I don't understand that perspective. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's it. God, it'd be great if that was the case, if 2 of the 3 are done. But I don't understand the mindset of put pressure on the third. So what? He's had the same time as the rest of them to sort out his contract, and hasn't made his mind up. So if he's holding out for more than he's being offered, or he isn't sure about it, so what? Put the pressure on him, because I want to know what he wants to do. Somebody needs to light a fire under his arse and make him make a decision. The kid gloves approach hasn't worked. What would happen if Salah or VVD called out FSG? I don't know. No idea. But I've no doubt we'll hear stuff when they move on in the future. I'm waiting to hear Gini Wijnaldum speaking about his situation in the future. And I think I keep being drawn back into the interview with John Achterberg, where he was just left the club, and he'd gone over and he'd started working as the Al Ettifaq goalkeeping coach over in Saudi. And he was doing an interview, and in the interview he said very clearly that if Liverpool had have signed, who was that kid we were looking at signing? Fucking hell. What's his name? The French dude. The guy who's now in Spain. What's his name again? Nabil Fekir. Yes, thank you. Sorry, drew a blank. Nabil Fekir. So he said, if Liverpool had have signed Fekir, we wouldn't have had the money to sign Alisson. Think about that. Think about it. We were negotiating a deal for Fekir, and if we got that deal over the line, the money wasn't there for Alisson. So why were we negotiating? Why did we get to a point where he was pictured in a Liverpool shirt if the money wasn't there? And that's coming from the goalkeeping coach. That's not me, a fan. That's somebody from inside the system. So, still think that there wasn't shenanigans going on there? And again, the Eleni Yoro situation. We were all told very clearly by all the journalists that if Real Madrid don't sign him, Liverpool will be there in the wings waiting. And that was all. The only problem was that he was favouring Madrid until he didn't go to Madrid. And then we all of a sudden, really quickly, almost like that, were in full agreement with Madrid that they weren't going to pay the wages that he wanted, and they weren't going to pay all the fees involved. Like that. When Madrid backed out, all of a sudden we were on Team Madrid. And, oh yeah, we stand with Madrid. We don't want to pay this either. And then in come Manchester United and they pay it and get the kid. So am I supposed to believe that before Madrid decided they weren't going in, that you didn't know the parameters of what he wanted? I, as a fan, am supposed to believe that you fuckers negotiating didn't know what type of money he would have wanted. So when we were all being briefed and told that Liverpool were in their wings waiting, you had no idea how much money he wanted. I'm supposed to believe that as a fan. Come on. That's nonsense. But what isn't nonsense is the all reliable of not getting it done, not moving. Jurgen Klopp, our manager, the only problem with Jude Bellingham is that he isn't available. Until he was, and then there were suddenly other problems. Liverpool can sign generational talents unless they're asked to pay for them. And people let them away with this shit. Even now, we're being told we're monitoring Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool are waiting on Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool are fond of Kvaratskhelia. Everybody on the Italian side of it knew he was going to PSG. Romano was on about it, and we were still being told that Liverpool admire him. Liverpool are interested in him. Liverpool are waiting in the wings. Because they knew it was going to fucking happen. And with the Euro one, they also thought he was bound to go to Madrid. Until Madrid actually grew a pair and said they weren't want to pay him. And then when they were put in that position where, we might have to do something, what happened? We didn't sign him. Or anybody else in that position. And these are things that you've all seen over the years as fans. And benefit of the doubts have been given. Windows have gone by. Promises have been broken. And where's the under-promise and over-deliver? Where's that? Give me one example of FSG under-promising and over-delivering. Just fucking one. The Red Machine said, hope Liverpool win the title, from a Bayern fan. Thank you, my friend. I think we will, for what it's worth. I hope we will. But this was a window where we had an opportunity. And look, I know the window isn't closed yet. And anything can happen in the last 14 days of it, because it ends 3rd of Feb. But it's just mad right now. There's nothing being done. Roger, you're going to be sorry saying that, Craig. You've cancelled gone to 2 games for your safety. Never said I cancelled the last game for my safety. You're going to get a slap for talking to someone like that. From who? Who's going to give me the slap? Because I promise you, mate, I'm no shrinking violet, and none of these little clowns I've called out are going to slap anything. And if they try it, best of luck to them. So I'll worry about me, and you don't need to worry about me calling people out, mate. I'll worry about that. And again, you really don't understand anything about me or my life or my family or my background. I'm the nice person in my family. The nice one. The calm one. The rational one. The one that hasn't been involved in martial arts or worked on doors or worked as security. And, you know, don't worry about me, bro. I'm good. I'll worry about any of these clowns if they want to give me a slap. For what? For what? They haven't got the balls to call out an owner, and I'm supposed to worry about them suddenly having the balls to stand in front of me and hit me? Nah, you're alright, mate. I'm good. As a basketball fan, if FSG buy the Boston Celtics, they're probably going to give us supermax contracts to the star NBA players. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about American sport to understand, but it does feel to me like the 6 billion valuation is at the upper end, and I don't know if there's much growth left in that to make another profit. Like, I don't understand it. So, you know, with us, they bought it at a really reasonable price, like 300 million quid or whatever it was, and now it's, you know, gone up astronomically. And look, some of their good work has helped in that, and I've said that over the years. But yeah, I'm still laughing at Roger there. You're going to give me... These lads haven't got the balls to stand up to a journalist of the clubs, and they're going to give me a slap. Who the fuck are you kidding, Roger? Would you stop? People who are criticising Hicks and Gillette don't understand this. FSG are the exact same. They just got luckier in the financial climate. I don't know, to be honest, if they are the same or not. I've kind of almost blocked out the Hicks and Gillette era. But I did see a little clip of when John W. Henry spoke after buying the club and promising to leave no stone unturned to be successful, and that kind of makes me chuckle. And by the way, Roger, you know what you didn't say to me when I was calling out Redmen, the Anfield Rap, you know what you didn't say to me? That I was wrong. You said, be careful, you're worried about your safety. But you didn't say I was wrong. Because you know I'm right. Giant Gift said, I think FSG are okay. Occasionally spend, but are more on the conservative side. FSG are certainly not excessive. I think that's a reasonable assumption. I think FSG are okay. But okay isn't good enough for me as a Liverpool fan, mate. And this is the thing that a lot of people that do criticise me don't understand, because they don't watch. They see clips of me and they see me calling out the owners. They see the Where's the Money Johns. But they aren't in the streams where I'm crediting the good stuff that they've done, and where I've said they're no way comparable to the Glazers or anything like that. They aren't the worst owners in the world, and I've been at pains to say this for many years. My only agenda with them is the Super League stuff, which, look, ultimately is gone, and there's not much can be done about that now, and the spending. And I credit the infrastructural stuff. I credit the prowess of building up the financial side of the club, modernising it, bringing in commercial partners. I've given all the claim for that. But ultimately, that's all supposed to lead to bodies on the pitch and world-class players kept at the club and the team being healthy. It's their job as owners to make sure that we are in the best position possible on the pitch. And I don't feel they're doing that. So as you've said, they are okay, but okay isn't good enough for one of the biggest names in sporting history to be the owner of. Okay doesn't cut the mustard at Liverpool Football Club. Okay isn't okay, if you get me. Noyendir said, you've got to wonder why Liverpool are always publicised for being interested in all these players. We're used to be used as a bargaining chip by other clubs and players and managers. I don't understand it. The Liverpool are interested in, Liverpool are monitoring stuff. You're right, it's weird. I don't get it either. Other than perhaps it buys a little bit of time for us to go, oh, I wonder if something's going to happen here. Like I've said this before, every window that goes by now, other than some of the ones where we have made some good signings, and the summer before last summer was a pretty decent summer. Like we were active, brought in Grafenberg and a few others. Soboslai just before the window ended, or sorry, just before his release clause expired. Great. Business done quickly, bang. But now, we're either procrastinating too much, we're thinking too deeply, or we're working with a budget that isn't reflective of what it should be. But either which way, what has Hughes and Edwards done over the past 6 or 7 months? They've not extended anyone. They've done nothing that we're aware of as fans. Now, I'm sure these men work every day behind the scenes, but we don't see any of this benefit. We don't see an improvement. You know, they're not coaching the players, so the improvement on the pitch is down to Arne Slot, because he hasn't been given anybody other than Chiesa, who's had, what, a handful of minutes? Craig, did you read what Fowler said about the contract? Yeah, and I don't understand the order, because who cares about putting pressure on the third one? The third one should be under pressure, whether it's Trent, Virgil or Mo. If 2 players have signed and it's done, brilliant. Announce it. Let us celebrate them. Let us say well done to everybody, including the club and the owners. But keeping it quiet so the third one doesn't feel out of joint or under pressure. They should feel under pressure. So, you know, I hope Robbie's right, but I don't agree with the thought process. But nothing but respect for Mr. Fowler. He's called God for a reason, and he certainly is somebody who I hold in the highest regard. So, I can't read this out because they're not the particular words that I would use. But what I can say is I feel most of the people on that list, maybe outside of Paul Joyce, feel like they can't be critical of the owners. I think that's the fairest I can be about what you've said. And nor do I see or hear much of them publicly calling out the owners. I've seen some stuff over the Super League that was almost walked back quite quickly. But look, as I said, you know, I wouldn't have worded it how you did, but I certainly think that there are people who aren't being authentic. So, Repel Group, it's not my words that said Konate. I'm going to read out your comment and then I'll reply to you. You said, supported this channel since early on, but it's getting ludicrous now. Is there anyone you haven't said is at risk? You do realise that Ibrahima Konate today himself came out with the line, I've been offered a contract, and then someone said you're going to sign it, and he said that's a whole nother conversation. So before you come and jump on your high horse again to have a pop at me, out of the player's mouth, directly. So, you know, I'll wait for your apology, because, you know, you seem like a reasonable fella, but I don't invent this shit, mate. I don't write these stories. These are quotes from the man's mouth himself. So, if you want to be angry at it, be angry at the owners. So, again, the contract's been on the table, as we know, for months, and it hasn't been signed. Now, why do you think it hasn't been signed? If you're being grown up about this, why is it not being signed? Because it clearly isn't reflective of what he wants. And if it's on the table, and another one hasn't been forthcoming anytime soon, and he's saying, when someone says, are you going to sign it? That's a whole nother conversation. Do you not think that his future's at risk? If he's saying that? So again, having a pop at me for stories that other people write isn't my fucking problem. I'm not a journalist. I report on what's being said out there by the journalists and in the media. And then we discuss it. So, I haven't said his future's at risk. The man himself has said it's another conversation about whether we'll sign it or not, because the contract's still there, unsigned, months later. So all these people love to have a pop at me for shit that I didn't write. I can only come in here and talk about stories that are out there in the media. I don't write them. I'm not a journalist. I don't have a website. I don't publish stuff. I talk to my fellow fans about how I feel and try to see how they're feeling outside of the match day stuff. So, you've supported the channel. Well, you don't really support me, do you? If you're willing to throw me under a bus for something. Not to mention we're linked with everyone again, hedging your bets. I think you might just be a bit dense, to be honest with you, Rappel Group. Because clearly you don't understand how this channel works. For somebody who says they've watched it since the start, I think you're full of shit. Because one, I don't recognise your name. And two, I've done the exact same thing since day one. Report what's in the media, come up with a thumbnail and talk about it and explain exactly where it comes from every single time. So, what's the problem? We're signing Joe Blogs from unknown, said Colzer. Tony said, let's be fair, 3 best players haven't signed. Does this give any incentive for other players to re-sign? No, of course. Bobby said half of their talk is fake. Of course. And nobody thinks everything that's in the media is gospel. And if there's one thing I think I've consistently said over the years, is question everything. Question me, question the articles, question the narratives. I've said this over and over. I've not changed. I've been the same guy since I started doing the same thing. And, you know, if you don't do this, what do you do? You know, become another person who just reports what they want you to report? If I think that, you know, let me just put this out there. What do you think this exists for? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you think I have Bullshit Island as a thing? Why might that exist? Is it because I think a lot of these are horseshit? What's the story with Jones? No problem, Tony. Let me just read out what Jones said. So, Curtis Jones was being interviewed and he was asked, as a footballer, is Hazard better than Mo? I believe it was Rio Ferdinand. And he responded, in my opinion, yes. And then he said, but who would you rather have in your team? You're going to say Mo because he gets the goals and assists. So, you know, how is that helpful? Because we all know the bullshit that Salah's dealt with over the years around the Hazard stuff from all the little Chelsea fans trying to make out like he's better. And now we've got Curtis Jones saying, as a footballer, I think he's better. That's astounding to me that he said that. Like, absolutely astounding. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it's about, Tony. I couldn't believe it, mate. And look, of course the man's entitled to his opinion, but it's a weird one. Ancelotti leaving at the end of the season, Fabrizio Romano said, yeah, it's been confirmed, Sharon, and to be fair, I told you that months ago. I know it wasn't confirmed, but it's been well known that this was going to be his last season, Ancelotti. That's why I said when we've spoken about Trent at times that I worry that Alonso's going to come in and take the Real Madrid job, and that, you know, Trent may get wind of that, or maybe already has wind of that. And we know how much Trent thinks of Xabi Alonso. Just look at when we played Leverkusen, you'll see he made a beeline for a little chat with him, which is grand. Like, Alonso's a legend of football, but it's been well known for ages that that Carlo Ancelotti's going to be gone at the end of this season. Do you see Curtis as a long-term Liverpool player? I'd sell him tomorrow, Colin. I think he's not consistent enough. I think on his day he can be brilliant and he can look like a Rolls Royce. But there's been too many times where he's flattered to deceive or he's taken too much out of the ball. And you get one good game and a couple of bad games. But I want him to succeed. I don't know. He's a player from day one I've never really been fully convinced by. But, what I think doesn't really matter. I guess the manager's opinion is the one that counts. And to be fair, this has probably been his best season as a senior pro, Curtis Jones. But still too inconsistent for me. Benedict, thank you, mate. Said, hi, Craig, love the channel. You never walk alone, short. He said, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't FSG have form letting contracts expire? Yep. And letting players walk out the door for free. They do. And they have form for doing that over in the States with Major League Baseball as well. I love Jones, but that opinion sums up his level, said Rain. Look, even if you think it, Rain, right? Even if Jones does in his heart of hearts think he's better, why would you say that when one of the lads in the question's still in your team? Like, it just astounds me that he's played into this narrative and this Chelsea narrative by saying that. Like, if I'm in his dressing room, the first thing I'm doing is, what the fuck are you saying? As soon as I walk in there, if I'm Salah. Because, in all honesty, Hazard's not fit to lace Salah's boots. Hazard probably a better one-off player. But look at the body of work that Mo has compared to the body of work Hazard has. Mo hasn't gone a calendar year without scoring twice. Mo didn't get a big move to his dream club in Real Madrid and show up overweight. Hazard isn't fit to lace Mo's boots because he hasn't got the commitment that Mo has to the game, to himself, to the sport, to his... It just baffles me that he'd come out and say that. Can't imagine losing VVD and possibly lose Konate if don't sign him. Who do you bring in cover for them? I don't know how you ever replace either of those, Virgil or Mo. I just don't know how you replace them. Like, even if you gave me free reign to go out into the world now to grab another centre-back and I could pick anybody anywhere, I maybe have 3 that is on the short list and they aren't players that Liverpool are getting anytime soon. So why don't you extend a lad that will easily play 3 more years at the top level? It doesn't make sense. Get this channel to 300k subs. Yes, please do. We've 11 days left in January. We need 4,616 subscribers. So yes, if you can help us out, please do. There's an attacking rank that was on Sky Sports that looks really cool. It's expected goals and expected Premier League goals and expected goals this season, and Liverpool head and shoulders above the rest of the Premier League clubs, which looks great. And also, Arne Slot's press conference today, I thought he gave some really interesting thoughts on the midfield position and in general on the campaign and where he sees where we're at. I'm so impressed with him as a coach, by the way, and the way he handles and conducts himself. Love him to bits, honestly. I didn't expect to be able to feel so confident and secure in a coach after Jurgen that quickly. Because, we all agree they're huge shoes to fill. But wow, so impressed with the man. He just, I've said this before and I apologise for repeating myself, but he just seems like a man that knows he's supposed to be there. And knows what he's about. And is secure in himself. And I love it. I think it's a great appointment by the club. And I think with the right backing, who knows? Because I honestly think Slot is a genius, especially when you see the little things he sees, the tweaks he makes. Again, I don't know what this is, by the way. Sorry. I don't know if I'm milking little cows here or something. What did I get Lucas for his birthday? He got an iPhone 15. He got Lyle Scott tracksuit, and I gave him 100 quid. Now, the iPhone sounds way more impressive than it actually was. We had an unused upgrade, so the iPhone cost me like 100 quid or something. So it wasn't like I went out and spent $1,000 on an iPhone for him, but we got him an iPhone 15 because there was an upgrade that we hadn't used, so we said we might as well give it for him. Ryan said, sick to death of FSG and the media and the constant speculation over contracts and signings. Just either tell us they've signed or they're leaving. Enough is enough. FSG out, where's the money, John? Yeah, where is the money is the question. Genuinely, what's going on? When are we going to see anything done? Like, just give us some positivity. Give us something to think that the future of the club's stable. Give us something to think the best players are going to be here. And not excuses. Alexander, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. It's okay, Craig. Shanks used to do that little movement with your hands like you just did. I honestly still don't know what this was. Don't know where I was going with that, mate, to be honest with you. Angie, hello, Craig. Where are Spirit of Shankly? Why are they not speaking up on FSG? Can we start a petition? FSG out. I feel so worried. So, look. On Spirit of Shankly, I have nothing but respect for Spirit of Shankly. Sincerely. You know, the work that they did in and around Hicks and Gillette and stuff, I thought was incredible. I was backing the call the other day for, you know, the club not to put up the ticket prices and to make sure that Scout's heartbeat's on the cop. I agree with all of that. Sometimes I feel like there's a little bit forgotten about the rest of us, but ultimately, you know, very clever people. And I find it a little bit funny sometimes that the only time maybe you do see the owners called out is when it impacts somebody else's back pocket. But I don't know, because I'm not a member of Spirit of Shankly. I don't really know any of the people involved with it. I know that they're intelligent, serious people, and I respect what they do. But I don't know them on a personal level. So, do you think we get Kirkes? And 52% of people said yes and 48% said no. Last poll before we finish up, with about 12 minutes to go. Question is, does Trent stay? What are we thinking? Yes or no? Stevie said, Arne Slot can only do so much with the players. At some point, he'll hit a brick wall because of no signings. FSG, $6 billion to buy a baseball team, yet won't pony up money for new players. It's a basketball team, and I don't actually think they will buy it. In all sincerity, I think the valuation will be too high for them. And I think from people who understand basketball a lot better than me, they feel like the most likely avenue in will be the Las Vegas franchise that's going to be coming up. And again, I don't really understand it. And what was the other part of your question? Arne Slot can only do so much. Yeah, and he was throwing around, you know, stuff about Chelsea spending over $1 billion and others spending. And I wonder, is he already starting to feel like, well, if there's all this money in the Premier League and Chelsea are doing this and City are doing that, and, you know, City went out there, got 3 deals done, extended Erling Haaland's contract for 9.5 years and got Guardiola done. Now just think about that for a second. We're told complicated, difficult, talks ongoing. City backs against the wall, 130 or 100 and whatever Premier League charges on them, and they go out and extend Guardiola, give a record-breaking 9.5 year deal without a release clause to Haaland, and bring in 3 new players to try and save their season. And Chelsea have been ruthless in search of success. I'm not saying we have to model ourselves on them, but at least these guys have shown some ambition to win. We get lucky and get managers who put us into great positions and they don't support them with signings. They rinse every ounce out of these players and then hope that we stumble over the line. So I need your help. We need to get to 1,000 likes. We're 781. So if we can get 18 more likes before we finish up, we'll have had another stream with 1,000 likes, which is incredible, and I thank you all for your support. Trent is negotiating hard. That's a smart thing. I would. However, he doesn't appear he will stay unless the record contract. I don't know what Trent wants, and I've been honest about that all the way through. I can't get a read on the situation. But I do know I'd like to hear him say at least he wants to stay. Because I think that then puts the pressure back onto the owners. And the longer it goes on, I think the more doubt people have in, what's going to happen. Because where do you draw the line? Like, when's the cutoff point? When is it time to make a decision? It's worrying. But we all want him to stay. After Paddy Record said, genuine question here, what's your reaction to us losing all three players at the end of the season? And would you sign any extension with no ambition? I mean, they're kind of two contradicting questions, if you don't mind me saying. But what would be my reaction to us losing all three players? Oh, fuck. Probably. I'd be petrified, mate. Because you're ripping out the spine of a team and all the experience of that spine. It's not like there's three aging players. There's two players that are getting older who are still producing great performances and have us at the top of the league. And then a young man who's 26 coming into his prime. I'd be petrified, honestly, if we lost. Because I don't think that there are players that we can bring in and replace them and keep us at that level. Whereas preparing for that, bringing in the next players... And, having 18, 19, 20-year-old lads in and around the first team, if you think there's a pathway through, brilliant, if they're generational talents. But I don't believe we'll go out and spend adequately to replace them. Do I think if Virgil goes, we're seeing a 100 million quid centre-back? No. Do I think if Salah goes, we're going out and bringing in the best right-winger in the world? Nope. I think you're bringing in players that you hope over 2-3 years can get back to being there and look like bargains. And when you've gotten to the top of the mountain, that doesn't feel great. And to the second part, would I sign an extension with no ambition? It's a really good question. Probably would at Liverpool. Especially if I'm in the position that these lads are in, where I'm either the captain or I'm chasing down records, which will last forever and, cement your legacy in Mo's case. Or I'm Trent, who is a local boy who's been at the club 20 odd years and will be the next captain. So, yeah, I probably would. But you're right, I'd probably be saying I want to see some ambition from the owners as well. IFI must say, Craig, we've been lucky achievement we have, but I think it will end and come crashing down. And that's the fear. That's the anxiety that we all have now. Because we're not seeing that ambition being backed up in the market. We're not seeing our managers being backed up in the market. What else we got? Looks like I'm not playing watching this transfer window. Look, I wonder will something happen towards the end? Like, let's talk about the Ryan Cherky situation for a sec. So right now, if there's a position where Leon are up shit creek and they need to make about 150, just short of 150 million quid, or they're going to be expelled out of league and relegated down, like you've seen happen before. So there's apparently a verbal agreement that he can leave for about 19 million quid in this window because they are desperate for money. And he's a player that's been linked with Liverpool. And again, I don't know if he's good enough or not because I don't watch enough of him. But if he is, and they're in that position, why not just do it? That smells of an opportunistic signing for a player who, at the very least, Liverpool have been monitoring. And I don't know, we monitor hundreds of players, but it feels like there's a bargain to be had there, and delaying it's not really going to get it any cheaper. Craig, pop in 12 man for a bevy tomorrow. Point on me. I'm not going to the game, mate. As I said, I'm not setting foot in Anfield while they own the club. I know the 12th man well. It's a great place, and I've helped out with tickets before as well. And it's one of the pubs I'd say to people, if they are going over to Liverpool, going to Anfield, to pop into a great place, and I always enjoy it in there before games and after games. I always go in and head straight for the back though, because I always find the little pockets. It's always so busy when you go in, and you've got the little mezzanine up to your right, but I always beeline straight for the back because there's usually a bit of space in there. But man, enjoy it, Stephen, and thank you for the offer. Jennifer Ball said, any credence to, I love the word credence by the way, well in, to VVD and Mo having signed but keeping it quiet to save Trent from the backlash. I mean, it's what Robbie Fowler intimated, but I don't see why protect the player who hasn't agreed his own deal. It's not Trent's fault if the other two sign, if you get me. Like, every one of them are responsible for their own careers and have their own decisions to make. And I don't think that Virgil and Mo signing is a reflection on Trent, personally. I don't. I think Trent's decision is his own to make. And certainly I wouldn't be going, gee, these two lads have signed. What about you? I mean, the pressure should be on anyway. Both sides of this. The club to get it sorted and Trent to make his mind up. So, you know, I don't personally see the benefit of that, you know. But I'd be happy if that was the case. James Rigby said, Cherky is a player we don't need at the moment and is average at best. The hype around him all but gone. I've not watched much of him, James, mate, to be honest. That's all I really couldn't say whether he was good enough or not. I just used him as an example of, if we did want somebody, he was there and cheap for the reason. You know, because I'm big on our club not shithousing enough. I think, you know, if there's any weakness in the market or in the Premier League, lean into it and put your foot on people's throat and flex your financial muscle if they're struggling, or go out there and get players where you think maybe they're available in the next window, but there might be competition there, but you can get it done now. You know, I think we should be doing that. You know, yeah. Why not shithouse? Go in, try to sign Kobe Mainu. Fucking just be that club and show we have the financial power because we've kept our cloth cut accordingly. But we don't. What's the benefit of all the frugalness and the extra revenue and all when we don't see any extra on the pitch? How much have the club saved by not getting these contract extensions done last summer? And then we had the contracts that were already expiring last summer that freed up a load of dough, and they haven't increased the wage bill really since then. I don't get it. I don't get the play. Craig, if you could choose one in the summer, Tchouaméni or Zubimendi? Zubimendi, because I know he was the one the manager wanted. And Tchouaméni, I think under Jurgen, would have worked better. Again, a very good footballer. And look, I've no issue. Tchouaméni at least was up front and honest and said, I want to go to Real Madrid. And he went to Real Madrid. If it doesn't work out for you there, look, that's on you and Real Madrid to figure out. But yeah, for me, I'd take Zubimendi. We've 93 more likes to go, by the way, folks. So please do hit that like button for us. Thiago is so much more central to our play on 200k. No way Trent deserves more than that. Look, I don't know what offer is on the table. We've seen some reports, some that said Trent was offered 300 grand. You know, that surely can't be the case, because if he was offered that, you take it. You couldn't turn that down like that. And I even went out of my way, again, for somebody who's critical of the owners, to say if that was the offer, it's a great offer. And I tried to get behind that idea. So I'm not hating on FSG for the sake of it. I would love to be wrong. And I would be on here telling you, how wrong did I get that? Because all I want is the best for the club. I don't want to be right. I don't want to call this stuff out. But I call it as I see it. And if they do better, I'm happy to praise them. Go back and watch some of our signings videos. I've said thank you when we've signed players. I felt like, wow, well done. Good business. But it's just not enough. How true is the Boston Celtics sale? 100% true. Now, as in, that's up for sale. But the FSG stuff, I have my own doubts about it, to be honest with you. Especially at the valuation of $6 billion. So now another report comes out to say Napoli are now close to signing Patrick Dorgu, with United still in with a chance if they offer €40 million. So again, I think, look, for me, if United are going after Dorgu, as I said earlier, I think that's a bit of an indication that maybe they know they're not getting Kirkes. Craig, if you could only choose one to start tomorrow, Chiesa or Darwin? Chiesa, because I haven't seen enough of him. You kind of know what Darwin's about, but I would like to see a bit more. My preview went out earlier on, by the way. If you haven't had a chance, I'll tell you my team. For tomorrow, I'd go with Alisson in goal, Bradley at right back, Costas at left back, Van Dijk and Konate. The reason Bradley is not to drop Trent or Ratner is because I want to see Bradley and give Trent a bit of a breather. I think we can bring players off the bench if needed. So that was my back five. In midfield, Endo in DM to rest Gravenberch, and Elliott and Jones, because Elliott needs minutes and let's see what Jones is about. And then up top, Chiesa on the right, Darwin through the centre, and Diaz back on the left. That's what I go with tomorrow against Lille. But let's wait and see. Threatened Trent wasn't criticising you, Craig, lad. Just a bit confused about what Trent thinks he's worth. Oh, no, all good, man, all good. It's hard to talk about these things when you don't know the information fully, you know. But my own personal belief on Trent is I think he's 250. Sounds about right for me. He's on about 180 now. So 250 to me sounds about right. 300 I would have understood to get it done. But anything over that, and I think you're getting into silliness. No, Kelleher. No, I think he's going to want to keep Alisson in a rhythm now. Because obviously Alisson had so long away. I think he's going to want to keep Ali in that rhythm. So I think he sticks with Alisson. Thank you, Kilo. You're very kind. Appreciate you. Right, so does Trent stay? We're going to see if we can run this poll up a little bit towards 1,000 before we finish up. I'll stay on a couple more minutes. Do have your say if you haven't done so. Does Trent stay? Yes or no? And again, we're only now 41 likes away from 1,000, so thank you. And look, before I finish up in a few minutes, I just want to reiterate and go back from the start. So today was a day where I kind of vented for a little bit early on in the stream. And I had my say. And I said stuff that I've been holding in for a while. And I thank you for understanding it, those of you that did, and understand where I'm coming from. I'll always say what I think is the truth. And I'll always fight my own corner when I feel like I'm being taken shots at. And I can't thank you enough for sticking with me and having my family's back throughout some of the threats and disgusting shit that's been aimed. And to those of you who've messaged and emailed me, thank you. If I haven't responded to them, I apologise. I've tried to get through as many as I can. But you mean so much to me. And being here means so much to me. So again, thank you for letting me be me. And not judging me for that. Most of you. Other than the people who do judge me, but they're not the approval I'm looking for. Look, I agree with you that we should be ruthless and spend the money, but not on Cherky, maybe on Antonio Silva. Again, James, Cherky only came up because it's a player I know is there that we've been linked with, and the club have financial problems. There are many clubs around Europe, James, that have financial difficulties that, as ruthless as this sounds, I think are there to be exploited. Because what's the point in having the flexibility financially if you don't utilise it when you can really force a bargain? Realistically, how many trophies do you think we're winning this season? I mean, I can't guess on the Champions League because knockout football is tough. We've, a little bit of an uphill climb in the second leg against Spurs in the League Cup, although I fully back us to turn that around and get the win. Premier League, I think it's ours. And I think Thomas Frank yesterday was amazing in his praise of Liverpool. So I think we win the Prem. And after that, even if I was fully happy with everything at the club, I don't know how you can predict to win cup competitions. Sometimes you're at the, you're looking for the draw. Where you're home draw, or do you get a red card in a knockout? There's so many variables with those things, but Premier League, you see enough bread and butter every week. You see enough, it's our bread and butter, I should say, every week to think, yeah, we're the best team in this league this season. We love you too, Craig. Thank you. Appreciate it. Melty, thank you as well. And everybody else that said thank you. Mr. H and Friends, keep being you, Craig. People criticise out of jealousy. No, look, I don't think everyone criticises out of jealousy. I think some people criticise because they just don't like what I say, and that's okay. I'm not asking them to like what I say. I'm asking them to just stay clear if they don't like me. It's not that hard. It's the people that come in and take shots and say, oh, I've watched this channel from the start, but blah, blah. No, you haven't, because nothing's changed. Or you come in to go, I hate this lad, but yeah, here I am. That's weird. And I just don't wish those people the unhappiness that they're clearly feeling, whether towards me or anybody. Don't carry around that anger and hate about people that you don't like. Because as much as I dislike Goldbridge and all the others, I don't go from one end of the day to the next thinking about them unless my name comes into a conversation that I have to insert myself into it. Craig, do I like John W. Henry as a person? I don't know anything about him as a person. I'm sure he's a good father. I'm sure he's a nice husband. I don't think about these things on a personal level. And I also don't go after them on a personal level. You never hear me criticising John for anything other than what he does at Liverpool Football Club. I wouldn't do that. I have no right to do that. His life is his life. But when he's owning Liverpool Football Club, I'm going to call him on what I think he needs to do for the football club. Right, ladies and gentlemen. We have had about 800 votes, and it's been pretty consistent all the way through. Question was, does Trent stay? And 800 people voted, and 70%, my apologies, 70% of people think no, Trent doesn't stay, 30% thinks he does. I still don't know is the honest answer from me. Tomorrow, watch along. We're going to go back to starting 1 hour beforehand instead of an hour 15. Just for myself to just limit my amount of time live and stuff for the time being. So we're going to go back to 1 hour live. So we'll be live from 7 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And there'll be a recap video with some transfer news coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to record that now. And then I'll see you tomorrow. So much love.